Sport of Outlaws would definitely be kind of like the goal, I guess, of mine for sprint car racing.
I think it's a lot harder to win now than when I started, you know, maybe 10 years ago. It's tough. It's tough to get a win now, and you got to fight for everyone you get. They just don't hand them to you.
Casey Mack is a third-generation sprint car driver. Just about everybody in Casey's family races or has raced, most notable being his grandfather, Don Mack. When Casey stepped into his sprint car at age 17, he only had a half a season of go-kart experience.
Just one day we decided, we had a go-kart kind of just sitting around the shop, and it was kind of, you know, older one that we got from somebody. We had just had it sitting around the shop one day, and my grandpa came around and said, you know, do you want to race one day? And I said, sure. So we pretty much got the whole thing together in like one afternoon and went and raced it that night. And it was like the go-kart, really, there wasn't much money into it at all. It wasn't really that good of a kart, so did that for half a year, and it was a lot of money. Like we thought, or at least my dad thought, you know, it was too much money just to spend, and we really weren't getting like no money back all of it or nothing like that. And we just, you know, I guess it wasn't worth it, we thought. I think a lot what helped is just, you know, I was watching the races all the time as a kid, and I mean, I didn't know really too much about the getting the car ready and like driving part, but I knew like the mental part of it, you know what I mean, how it went and everything like that, and I was around it a lot as a kid, so that probably helped me even more. I was about 8, I think it was, when my dad quit. So I guess I didn't like, I remember him watching him race a little bit, but not like a lot about it. But I guess we'd go like to the Outlaws in Fargo every year, and like my grandpa and everybody. Then my grandpa promoted the Outlaw show in Fargo for a long time. So that's, I don't know, we went there recently. It was a big family thing.
Tell us a little bit about your grandpa being inducted to the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame. That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, he got inducted into the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame in Iowa, and that's kind of like the top dirt track kind of in the U.S. at least. And he won like 486 feature wins, I think he had. So yeah, he was pretty good. My dad and my grandpa, their number was 4 all the time, and that's kind of been like the family number, and so they kind of wanted me to go to 4, but I don't know. I guess now it's kind of like my number is 8 kind of, so I'll just keep it.
Every driver remembers their first win. Casey talks about what happened after the checkered flag that made it even more memorable.
Yeah, that was my second year racing, and I think I was like in 3rd, and I got up to 2nd, and I passed the guy for the lead, and we were racing, and suppose they already took the checkered, but like the lap after the checkered flag, I was dipping under a lap car, and they had some big tractor tires on the bottom track, and hit one of those, like popped a wheelie. When I came back down, it caught and started rolling, and I don't know, I had no clue though that the checkered flag was already out. So it was, I don't know, it was kind of embarrassing but fun at the same time. I guess guess you're maybe too much into like the trying to beat the next guy ahead of you that you don't realize how fast you're going or nothing like that. But there's actually some nights where, to me, it feels like we're going slow. Like when there's really dry, it feels like you're just barely moving out there. But then there's some nights where it does feel pretty fast. You can feel.
Can you tell us a little bit about your first win in Grand Forks?
That one was big because it took me a long time to win here. I was winning like, I'd win like out of town. I would always have a couple wins a year or something, but Grand Forks, Mark Dom are kind of dominance here. And it just took me a long time to get the win. And just when I finally won, it was like probably the best feeling kind of racing so far. It was just awesome.
Casey describes his most memorable race during the World of Outlaws and the excitement of racing against professional sprint car drivers.
I started like 5th at heat race, and I got a really good start, got up to 3rd, and I think that was another yellow then. And then I like had a really good start, and Steve Kinzer, kind of like the king of sprint car racing, was leading it. And I got right behind him, got up to 2nd, and I stayed there until like 2 laps to go, and I think, or maybe a lap and a half, and Saldana passed me, and then on the very last corner of the last lap, I passed him back and got 2nd and made the dash, and it was in Grand Forks here, so it was pretty cool because they're like the professionals of sprint car racing, so it was cool to beat them. World of Outlaws would definitely be kind of like the goal, I guess, of mine for sprint car racing. But just, I guess it takes a lot of lucky breaks to get him anywhere in the racing, because it takes a lot of money or a really good sponsor to step in, or a car owner to come and pick you up, or it would take a lot of luck to get that far, I guess. But I just want to keep doing as good as I can every night, and I think that'll plan out to whatever. When I get some pressure on me, I get nervous and stuff like that. If it's a big night like the Outlaws are here, I get always nervous. It seems like I really get nervous time trialing because it's like the only guy on the track and everybody's watching just you.
Yeah.
That's where I really get nervous now. We always have like the superstitions, like now we have a yellow wing on, and ever since we put this yellow wing on, we've been doing really good. So now we say that's a good luck wing.
Okay.
But you know, pretty soon we'll have a bad night with it, and that superstition will be over.
Well, yeah, we're working pretty good, everybody together, and we're having some success this year.
I mean, he's got 4 wins this year. It's the most wins he's had, and going for number 5 hopefully tonight.
The Racing Life is sponsored by Performance Auto, Valley Alignment and Repair, Quality Engines, Red River Kart Club. Here is the Racing Life's question of the week.
There's a dedicated pit crew behind the number 8. Each member has a specific job in getting the car ready for the next race.
And I'm pretty lucky because these guys are here. There's always 2 of them here, and they're mostly all 3 here every single night, and they take a lot of work off my back. I got Ricky, and I kind of grew up with Ricky playing hockey with him and stuff like that. So he's been I've known him my whole life, and he's been helping me. He's really fun to work with. And then Matt, he was helping before, like on the same car before I started driving it. He was helping out that, and same with Don too. So they kind of just kept with it and kept helping me.
Yeah.
And they're a lot of fun to be around every night.
I've actually known Casey for the majority of his life. One of my best friends when I was growing up lived behind me and is Casey's cousin. But I actually started working on the race car before Casey actually started racing it. The kid I went to school with, his brother-in-law is Gary's stepson, so I got into it that way, just kind of working around the shop a little bit. And then one week they were short a guy and said, well, you want to come down in the pits and work on the car? So I said, yeah, sounds like fun. And that's 8 years ago now.
Well, we both went to school in East Grand Forks and we both played hockey. He's a grade older than me. But I started helping him out here because a guy I lived by, his name is John Eglund, he used to race. And after that first year of helping him out, he quit. And I knew Casey, so then I just kind of switched over and been with him ever since. I don't know, me and Don, the other guy, we're both kind of, I guess you could call us the co-crew chiefs, whatever. We both make the decisions about the setup and what we're going to do. I do a lot of motor work and like the suspension stuff, decisions. He makes more like the tire and stagger rules and all that stuff.
Usually he can explain what he needs to do. I mean, like everybody else, there's those points where it's like, I really don't know what it needs, he'll tell us, but for the most part, this is what the car was doing and this is what we need to do. I know quite a bit about how to get it put together, like the squaring away, stuff like that. I leave to Ricky and Don just because they're more technical at that stuff.
Okay.
I just kind of do more of the grunt type work, putting the tires on, changing gears, and that type of stuff.
You're around everybody so much, you just gets to be, like your brothers and sisters pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're working pretty good, everybody together, and we're having some success this year.
I mean, he's got 4 wins this year. It's the most wins he's had, and going for number 5 hopefully tonight.
It's like a second job, I'd say. There's 4 or 5 hours a night at the shop that I've put in work into the car. Especially this year, I've been racing 3 nights a week this year, so it takes a lot of time.
The Racing Life is sponsored by Dakota Cat, Peterman Seeds, Randall's Excavating, Cheyenne River Kennels. Here is this week's driver factoid.
Dave Shipley has been racing for over 10 years now. He got involved in racing through his dad and tells the meaning behind the number 72 on his Superstock.
He used to race back in early 90s. I think he started in 91 and quit in like 97, I want to say. So.
And you kind of picked up where he left left off then, right?
I did. Yeah, I had about 2 years off after he was done, and then I started shortly after that. It was his number. I think he chose that number because when I was younger, he bought a 1972 Monte Carlo, and he restored that car, and so he liked that year.
Yeah.
So that's why I think he chose that number.
Okay.
So I just kind of stuck with it. I liked it too.
You ran a street stock before. Did you just felt like you kind of graduated up to a super, or you just want to try something new?
I did. I ran it for a couple years, and actually the reason I got out of that class is because you have to run an automatic transmission in that class, and I broke a lot of them. That's the main reason I got out of that class. I got sick of breaking trannies all the time, and so I wanted to get into a class where I could run a tranny and not have to worry about it. And it's like a second job, I'd say. There's 4 or 5 hours a night at the shop that I put in work into the car. Especially this year, I've been racing 3 nights a week this year, so
yeah.
it takes a lot of time. But it's got to be perfect, or else you don't want to come in yet. Sometimes I get accused of just standing there and looking at the car for too long. Got to make sure, mentally think, okay, did I do this? Did I do that? Did I check everything off? And
Stand back and look at the whole picture.
Something doesn't look right. What did I forget? I think it's a lot harder to win now than when I started, maybe 10 years ago. It's tough. It's tough to get a win now. And you got to fight for everyone you get. They just don't hand them to you. You always want to win. That's why you're out there, is to win. So, I think I run as hard as I can without putting myself in a position where I'm going to wreck. Well, because if you wreck and you don't finish, you're not going to win anyways.
Right.
So I run as hard as I can to get up front and to win without wrecking and get myself knocked out or anything. And I think back in the past, maybe it was more of a prestige thing, and guys really got into it. But I don't know. I just want to win features. I want to win races, and then you win races, and the points just kind of take care of itself.
The Racing Life is sponsored by Norman County Raceway, Nugget Vending, Dakota Engine Builders, 295websites.com. Here are the Racing Life's fan pictures of the week.
Hi, my name is David Estey, and I want to know what it's like to drive a legend car.
Hey David, this is Cole. I got your question. What's it like to drive a Legends car? It's a lot of fun, and there's a lot of power in such a small chassis that seems like you're going a lot faster than you actually are. And with such a low center of gravity, everything seems to fly by, so it's fast and really fun.
Are the race car drivers scared?
Hi, my name is Betty. The question I have today is, do you ever get scared racing? My opinion on that is, you sitting in the lineup and you're waiting to get out on the track, that's when your nervous and jitters start, but once you're out on the track, you forget all about it. Thank you.
Dave's most memorable race was early in his Superstock career, and it came at Red River Valley Speedway in West Fargo.
And I think that was in '03, and I won it out here in my second night ever in a Superstock. So I had high hopes right away, but I think it took me another 4 years to win another one. I would say my worst wreck I had here was in '06, the season championship night here, last race of 2006, and I got turned sideways going down the front stretch in the feature. And I flipped the car probably 3 times and up and over the wall when they used to have the wall around the track, and landed outside the wall. That was the worst wreck I've ever had.
Yeah.
I didn't get hurt or anything, but totaled the car out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
It was done.
You didn't hurt your back or your head or anything? I suppose you were sore?
Well, I was sore, and I still think I might have, like, you know, I get neck pains and back pains every once in a while, and it might stem from that. It might and it might not, I don't know, but, you know.
But were you pretty much ready to get back in the car?
Oh, the next week, actually 2 weeks later, we bought a different car and I was back racing again. If you let it bother you too much, then you get too tentative and hesitant, and you probably don't push it as hard as you really should. You don't get a bunch of money for winning the points championship. You know, and I think back in the past, maybe it was more of a prestige thing, and guys really got into it, but I don't know, I just want to win features. I want to win races, and then you win races and the points just kind of take care of itself.
What do you enjoy most about racing?
Well, winning. I meet a lot of good friends out here and have a lot of fun, you know, get to see people that travel and I don't get to see very often, so I like that aspect of it too. Brian Bernatus and I are really, really good friends. We both race supers, and now he just got a late model. We're really good friends, and I'm friends with Matt Bakken and Scott and Joe Johnson. Okay. They race late models, so it's it's fun to watch them. But now they got supers running after late models, so it's tough for me to get there to watch their feature. I'm usually getting ready to get in the car. Their ugly sweater Christmas party at their shop in the winter is one not to miss. It's infamous. Let's put it that way.